Hey everyone, welcome back. Tyler Penor here, founder of the School of Living Astrology, and welcome to the second video. And I want to thank you for watching that last video that I shared with you guys on the houses and the birth chart, laying out kind of the framework for you guys. And I hope you really got some good insights and understanding in how that all works and what those things represent. So in the chart, after laying out kind of the houses, we see the signs on the outside. As I said, the signs are the wheel, that all the planets and the sun move through. So every day, each sign rises on the eastern horizon, sets in the west, makes a full circle around us. So in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys the framework of the living astrology model and how it applies to the signs of the zodiac. And so the signs really are just this reflection of the seasonal pattern, the seasonal cycle. And each part of the season throughout the year has its own unique qualities. It has its own unique kind of expression of life, and we really see that reflected in the plants and even in how we operate, and the growing our gardens or working on things. It's kind of hard to do. You don't really plan to do a bunch of construction in the middle of winter. It might be kind of hard. So it's good to know the seasonal cycle. Obviously, we kind of plan out our year that way. And so really there's a lot of teachings in the pattern of the zodiac itself, in the way that it's laid out. And I want to bring it to life for you guys. Really, maybe some of each sign has a connection to one of the elements: fire, earth, air, water. And then in astrology we have the Trinity: cardinal, fixed, and mutable. But to go beyond that, those words, the labels of cardinal means initiating, fixed kind of hold things, and mutable shifts and changes, that we know those qualities. But how can we see it in nature? How can we bring it to life and learn about these signs, these archetypes, through nature itself? So I'm going to take you guys on a journey through the zodiac, and I laid out all the framework here, and I hope you guys can read that and see it. So one thing to note before we get into it, as I said, each sign is connected to an element. So fire, earth, air, water. And there's 3 of each one. So each element has 3 expressions. So in nature it works that way as well. Say fire has a spark, it has the light or the flame, and then the heat. Water, for example, has liquid flowing water, and then we have ice, and then the vapors, the clouds. So the way to understand the signs in a way that you can actually apply it to nature and see it moving and living in nature, these qualities of the signs, they're embedded and they move throughout nature and the elements. So each sign is one of the elements in its unique expression. That's a way you can understand the signs in a different way. You can kind of throw away everything you've read about Aries and Taurus and Gemini and just look at the elemental expression of that sign, and it'll show you everything about that quality and that archetype. So it really brings it to life that way. And then also the season, if you just watch how the animals move in the season, or how the plants grow during the season of each sign of the zodiac, it really will show you where those energetic qualities come from. So in this story, as we move through the signs of the zodiac, I'm going to start at Aries and move all the way around. Just want you to see, as I describe each one's the similarities between the season, the expression of the element, and then the part of our body as well. I'm going to show you guys that, and that's really how the medical astrology works too. So another useful way the tool of astrology can help you in your life. And then the main story we're going to attach it to is the process of us growing as a human, starting at birth and moving all the way around until we leave. So each sign, you got to realize, each fire sign first, all the fire signs represent a type of awareness. It's what does the fire do? It shines light onto things, and it's what brings things to light, and what we can be aware of. So it's a type of awareness. Like our awareness is our own kind of fire. And then the earth signs are the container for that awareness, or what that light shines upon. So it's the body. The earth signs are all the bodies, the holders. And then the air signs mediate between the fire and the earth. So it's the different information exchange, the different thought processes. So it's like, what does our mind do? Our mind is kind of that air part of ourself. It's not. It mediates between our fire, our consciousness, and our body, and then back from our body to our awareness and consciousness. That's what the air signs do. And then the water signs are the reflection, a type of emotion. The water moves and is shifted by the elements, so it's the life that flows through all these. So in astrology, in the zodiac, it always goes fire, earth, air, water. Fire, earth, air, water. And there's 3 journeys. So each one evolves on the next. So each sign contains the ones that came before it. So it's a process of growth. And so, follow along with me and really kind of see it in that way. So Aries is the first fire sign. It's the beginning of our journey, through the zodiac. And Aries always starts at the equinox, the spring equinox. It's the beginning of spring. So the qualities of Aries: fire in the form of a spark. So that's its elemental expression. So that quality of Aries is similar to that spark. It ignites things. It gets things started. The time of year is the springtime, and that's when things are getting ignited and everything's starting. All the plants are starting to come, push their head up and out. And that's that glyph too, kind of that up and out symbol that we see with Aries. And so every day we go through a mini version of the seasons. Sunrise is like spring, noon is like summer, sunset is fall, and midnight is winter. Even the colors are kind of the same, and the feeling is the same. So spring and the morning is the beginning of the year, and then the beginning of the day. And we get the young colors coming out. And then noon, is kind of like summer, where the light is out and all the colors are out. And then sunset is like fall. We get kind of that warm colors, the orange kind of glow, of that sunset. And it's similar to the leaves turning orange and red, at the fall times. It's similar colors. And then midnight is similar to winter. It's darker, the light's not out, it's colder, and even as the snow comes down, it's reflected of like the stars that come out at night. So Aries is, as again I said, fire in the form of a spark, the beginning of the day and the beginning of the year. So it's all those beginnings, and the part of our body it connects to is the top of the head and the eyes, and inside of our head we have our brain. So we see that fiery mechanism in our brain, and the synapses that fire. So those little sparks, those triggers, those ideas. And then in our eyes is the first thing we do when we wake up. We open our eyes, and that awareness rushes in, and that's the beginning of our day. So we can see those qualities all similar. So as we go around, just kind of notice the similarities between the season, the element, the part of our body, and the process of growth. So Aries is the beginning of things. So the beginning of life, when we're first born, we just come out into this world. We're just innocent awareness. We're just this spark of awareness. We don't know we have a body yet, a mind, or emotions. So we're just, that young awareness, just becoming aware. So Aries is that raw, fresh, new awareness. So when we're born, we come into this world, we become aware, and what happens to that awareness? What is that first thing we become aware of? Is that we're in this physical body. Our awareness gets absorbed into our physical human body. And so Taurus is that absorption. That time of year and the season, we see the plants, they take that kind of spark that Aries brought, and they photosynthesize, and they create their leaf structure, and they sink their roots deeper into the earth and pull in those nutrients. And so they create their body, their physical body, by absorbing that light from Aries. So in our body, our human body, we have Tauruses, the ears, the nose, the mouth, and the neck. So that's where we absorb sound, smell, food, and taste, and so it's that absorption through the senses, pulling things in. And so Taurus is earth in the form of the mineral kingdom, so the dense kind of building blocks, of the earth. So going back to this story, we had birth, and then the first thing we become aware of is our physical body. Then we look out into the air, and we see this is now the world of Gemini, and we see things separate from our physical body. So there's me and this thing, me and that thing, these objects outside of us. And so now the world of duality sets in, which is the realm of the mind. And so Gemini, that's why it's the twins, it's the duality of the mind. And so now we start to collect information, from the outside world, and we start labeling things and putting, words onto things. And so that's how our mind begins to get developed. So that time of year, Gemini, we see all the birds are out and all the bees are buzzing around. Everything's kind of moving and swirling around, and the bees kind of take information from one plant, the pollen, and bring it to another. So that kind of pollination, sharing of information, and that's really that Gemini quality, and that's the mind, collects information and then shares it. So the elemental expression of Gemini is the wind. And we see that too, the wind, how it moves. It can swirl, it can be calm, and it can be gusts of wind, and so our mind works that way as well. So now we have our awareness on our body and now our mind. And so from gathering this information, this being, we're born and we're in this physical body, we start learning about things outside of us, and we gather this information, and then from that we have a reflection, we have an emotion or a response to kind of this intake. And so we move to the sign Cancer. And Cancer is water in the form of liquid flowing water, similar like the ocean, kind of those nurturing, life-giving waters. And the time of year is summer now, it's the solstice, and we just started summer, and it's kind of the warm waters of the summer, and everything kind of gets flowing and moving. And even us, we at that time of year, we kind of like water spill out onto the earth and travel and do all these different things. So that liquid water, so the part of our body is the chest and the breast and the water layer around the heart. So it's like the protector of the heart, the nurturer of the heart. And I know I skipped it, but Gemini is the arms and the hands. It's what we collect things with and gather information to on a physical level. So now, Cancer, we have the liquid flowing water. It's the summertime. It's the chest and the breast, how our mother nurtures us as well. And so now we're beginning to have these responses to life. We're starting to feel who we are, and so we have these emotions now. And so it's like our spirit now is awake. We have this feeling of who we are now. So now the first 4 building blocks are complete. We have fire, earth, air, water. We have that first journey of awareness is complete. So we have awareness, our body, our mind, and our own spirit and our own emotions. So now from that kind of first feelings and emotions and feeling ourself, now from that we say, okay, I'm feeling but who am I that is feeling these things, So we move to the sign Leo. So a new awareness is born from that. Now we have self-awareness. So the ego is born, the self. And so Leo is fire in the form of the flame itself, or the light, that radiates off the fire. And so, that kind of heart of ours, or that ego even, is like the flame. It kind of, even how it dances and expresses itself, and says, hey, gather around me, watch me dance, and I guess that's kind of a teaching, though. All of us, we want to be seen, and all of our hearts, if we express it and we shine, we can provide light and warmth. And so Leo is the middle of summertime. So it's the middle of summer, the sun is out, just kind of pouring its creative rays onto the earth. And so now that we have this self-awareness, what is the body now of our ego, or our self-awareness? It's the work we do. It's how we apply ourselves. It's the craft maybe that we have, or the service that we provide. And so we move to the sign Virgo. And so now we're beginning to kind of analyze ourselves and see what we're into and learn our way of doing things. And so Virgo is Earth in the form of the plant kingdom. And the plants, they're always in a process. They're always analyzing, the earth and kind of reshaping it and healing the earth as well, And so the part of our body that Virgo is the gut, the digestive process. So over here in Taurus, the mineral kingdoms, where we took food into our body, Virgo now, the gut is the part where now our body separates that food and analyzes it, passes it out to the rest of the body, and says, this nutrient goes here, this goes here. So we see that analyzing quality again. And that time of year is the end of summer. And so if we were living off nature, we'd be working more closely with the plants at that time, than any other time of year. And we're getting ready for the harvest. We're preparing for the harvest and making sure the plants have enough water and everything that they need. So even in our kind of gut and our digestive process, we have our own kind of plant kingdom in there. We have all the different bacterias in the gut. It's like a whole forest inside of there, and so even, we call that kind of the internal flora, and so it's that internal part of nature we have. And so that's where that symbol of Virgo also is, the M with the hook going in. It's like the medicine, the foods that we put into ourselves. So now we've moved along and we have this self-awareness, and now we maybe have found what we want to do, what we're good at, what service we can provide. And so just like here, when we looked out into Gemini and we saw now, separate things from ourselves and gathered this information, now we look out into the air again at Libra, and we see other people, other beings who have these same building blocks inside of them. So now we want to relate to one another. So Gemini was just purely kind of information based. It only had Aries and Taurus inside of it. So matter and awareness, it's information based. 1 + 1 is 2. So when we kind of talk, or just share information, that's one quality of how we utilize our mind. But in Libra, now we're relating. And so, as I said before, each sign contains the ones that came before it. So Libra has inside of it Cancer, the emotions, Leo, the heart, and Virgo, the work and how we do things. So when we relate to someone, we're saying, how do you feel? What's in your heart? And how do you do things? Okay, this is how I feel, and this is what I do. And, so we kind of share with each other in that way. And so Libra is that air of relating. And now it's the harvest time too, and so we get our harvest and we share and come together in the potluck time of year, and so we share what we have. And so Libra is that time of year that it's the equinox, the fall equinox. So now we have that equal day and equal night coming in again, getting ready to kind of tip the scales into the dark. And so now that we've, just like at Gemini, when we gathered this information and started to feel ourselves at Cancer, have our own emotions. When we relate to people at Libra, now we start to feel other people's emotions, and there's this whole kind of new realm and this deeper realm of emotions that sets in. And so we move to the sign Scorpio with that. And Scorpio is water in the form of still waters, like lakes and ice. And so it's that kind of first now reflection of seeing maybe ourself and someone else. And if you think about it, like a puddle or a lake was our first mirror. Before we had mirrors, that was our first mirror, our first reflection. And so it really, Scorpio kind of brings up that deeper mystery, that deeper reflection on the mystery of life. And when we relate to people and we see that they have emotions, and then we do, but how do we share those? So this kind of deeper meaning gets born out of that. And we have these gestures and symbols on how we share these kind of abstract things, beyond the physical. So Scorpio is now the middle of fall time. So everything looks like it's dying. All the leaves drop, and the mushroom kingdom comes out, and everything is getting digested, and all the dead material is being reformed for getting ready for new life. So that regenerative process. So Scorpio, the part of the body is the reproductive organs and the excretory system. So it's opposite the sign Taurus. Taurus where we took food in and took drink in, and Scorpio is now where we let it out, and also where we create new life. So now this if we go back to that story, so we went through that first journey of awareness of ourself. Now we begin to move out, and we start to experience things outside of ourselves and get that reflection on things. And now this mystery of life presents itself to us at Scorpio. And so from that deeper feeling of something deeper that is a mystery that we can't really maybe fully comprehend and understand, born out of that is the final fire sign of Sagittarius. So now, where Aries was just pure, simple awareness, Leo, self-awareness, now Sagittarius is this bigger awareness of life. What does life mean? What does it mean to be a human? Where did we come from? Where are we going? So these much broader questions in life, and wanting to seek and find a bigger truth, and to experience life. And so that's what Sagittarius is that seeking, and that, that's why it's the seeking and the philosopher and the kind of adventure sign, and that time of year too. Again, if we were living, off of nature, we would be hunting and gathering, and preparing for the winter to come. It's the end of fall time. And so Sagittarius is fire in the form of the heat and the warmth that radiates off the fire. And so, for hunting at that time of year too, to stay warm at night, we have the fire, and sit around the fire. And then also in our homes at that time of year, that's when we take the fire, into our home for the warmth and the heat. And we sit around the fire and we tell our stories and maybe our philosophies and our different perspectives on things, and trying to uplift one another too, through keeping each other warm through these stories, and we're going to make it through the winter. So there's that optimism quality. And that's really where, Sagittarius gets the term of saying, the grass is greener on the other side. It's just like saying, well, once we make it through the winter, spring will come again, and so Sagittarius, the part of the body is the quads, the upper part of the legs. So what lets us run and travel, on this earth. And so now this process of life, we reach this point in life now where we want to go on an adventure. We want to experience life for ourselves. We want to find some wisdom in this vast mystery of life. And so we begin to travel. Now we're traveling, and we're traveling through life, and we're gaining experiences. And then we reach that peak. We reach the top of the mountain, and now we're as high on the earth as we can go. We can't get any higher of a perspective on life. We're at the mountaintop. So now we reach Capricorn, the goat at the top of the mountain. So it's like we've reached that point in life where we're at our peak. Maybe we became an elder now. And so we're up at that mountain, and on top of the mountain, you can see your whole journey that you came up the mountain. And you have this kind of high view now of life. And you can maybe see where you can go in the future as well. And so sitting up on that mountaintop, it's cold up there, and Capricorn is the beginning of winter. And so when winter comes, you also have to be practical and use your time and resources wisely. So that's where Capricorn gets those qualities, the managing qualities of time and resources, and that sense of practicality. And so that's where those words come from as well. Capricorn, we have the cap of the mountain. We wear a baseball cap, the captain, the capital. It's all the things that sit on top, those kind of governing seats. And so we even have Capricorn rules the knees, and we have the kneecaps. So the quality of Capricorn, the earth quality, is the animal kingdom. So now we have the mineral kingdom at Taurus, the plant kingdom with Virgo, and the animal kingdom with Capricorn. And the animals walk on top of the earth, and if you really look at the animal kingdom and you watch them too, they have that Capricorn quality of practicality and using their resources. That we've learned so much. We actually mimic a lot from the animals. How they do things. We learn how to prepare, and just like even the time of year. Certain animals come out at certain times. The birds come at certain times, and so that's what Capricorn is that quality. And so now we reached our peak in life. You know, we're an elder, and maybe even like the white caps on the mountain, you know, we get the white hair, you know, the kind of showing that we've reached that time where now we've achieved wisdom. So we've experienced life, and that's the only way you can acquire wisdom. You have to gain it. You have to put your time in and gain experience. So now you've reached it and you've earned it. You have wisdom. But if you stay on top of that mountain and you die and you don't share anything, all your wisdom will die with you. So you have to come down from that mountain and back into your community. You know, that's what Aquarius is, and share your wisdom. You know, share, kind of empty yourself, you know, and all the teachings you have, all the wisdom you have, all the experiences you've acquired in your life. Now you give it back. You know, you give it back to the younger generations, and that's Aquarius is air in the form of space. So it's that kind of open mind and all-inclusive. And it's Aquarius is the water bearer, and what it represents is that water is like life, and water being life. Throughout life we acquire this experiences of life, and so we have this water, and once we reach our peak we have to give it back. And so we give that water back, we give our wisdom back to the next generations, you know, to enrich humanity, and that's where Aquarius gets that kind of humanitarian sign and open-mindedness and wanting to push things forward into the future as well, that kind of futuristic sign. So the part of our body is the calves, and the lower part of the legs there, and you know, if you look at that too, it's like that moving forward into the future. That's the part of our body that gives us that spring in our step that pushes us forward. And its opposite sign, Leo, the heart, that's where the blood pumps throughout the body. And then the calf muscles, this part of the leg, actually is what returns the circulation back to the heart. So we even see that giving back to the heart, giving back to Leo, giving even our wisdom. You know, as an elder, we give our wisdom to the child, you know, the Leo part of life. You know, we give it back to the younger generation. And so now we've kind of came on a long journey through life, and now, you know, we've shared our wisdom. We've kind of emptied ourselves into life. We've given everything that we acquired from life. We give all these experiences and all that wisdom back. And from that giving back, the final emotion sets in, which is Pisces. It's the feeling of completion and compassion for the whole journey, and so that unconditional love sets in that Pisces is known for. And the reason why it has that compassion is because it's been through this whole journey, so it has compassion for all the rest of the signs. And so that two fish completing the wheel, you know, that's what that symbol of the two fish, Pisces, it's like that completion. And that's really what it's all about, is coming back and ending where we began. And so Pisces is water in the form of the vapors, the clouds, you know, the rains. And we even see that cycle, you know, the water, it gets evaporated and then it rains back down, you know, and so it's that completing of a cycle. And so Pisces, the part of our body, the two fish, is the 2 feet. So that's kind of what grounds us and connects us here to this life. And so that final, you know, if we go through life and we do all these stages the best we can, when we get to that end of life, that Pisces phase, and we've given everything back, we can just let go and kind of evaporate like the waters and feel good about it, you know, that kind of sense of completion. And even throughout the day, this pattern, we move throughout the day from becoming aware, you know, and living our day and interacting with people and learning maybe some wisdom each day, and then sharing it, and then at the end of the day, if we completed that, we do the best we can, we get that final feeling of it was a good day, I can let go. And so Pisces, known as that kind of spiritual waters, that spiritual sign, it shows us that that's what it means, you know, in my understanding, to be a spiritual person is to include everything and complete everything, you know, and that it's all connected, it's all one, you know, our mind, our emotions, our physical body, it's all one thing. And that's to me what it means to be a spiritual person, is to be complete and to connect everything and do the best you can with everything. So that's the teaching, you know, that is woven throughout the signs. And there's a much deeper perspective on the signs than that. That's just the general pattern I wanted to share with you guys at this time. So again, if you can take a look at that, you can see the pattern, and you know, I wrote the different elemental expressions on the outside there. But really, that's what I'm saying. If you know, now you can look into nature, you can go out into nature and you can see these qualities, these elements interacting with each other, and then that's going to give you a lot of teachings, as well as understanding your birth chart and understanding where it all comes from. And so you'll actually be able to see the different parts of yourself reflected within nature. So again, thank you guys for listening, and I hope you really got some good insights out of this. And if you're interested right now and want to just go to thechironium.com and check out the programs that I'm offering, and maybe see about getting a consultation, or just kind of surfing around there, got a lot of different things on that website. So go ahead and check that out there. And the next video, we're going to be going through the planets. And so the planets, we're going to lay out the framework just as we did here with the signs. So I'll see you in that next video, and thanks for listening.